Greetings and welcome to True Life Experiences, streaming live on Streets 989 Atlanta TV, a platinum media network. I'm your host, the First Lady, MC Jazzy. We are the number one show streaming and sharing the lives of extraordinary leaders through true life experiences. Today, I am breaking it down with Senior Non Commissioner Officer, Master Sergeant Ricardo Bachelor. He serves as a flight chief at the 509th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron at Whiteman Air Force Base out of Missouri. He is an extraordinary leader. Today, he joins us to share his life and career with the U.S. Air Force. Let's bring him on. Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon, ma'am. How you doing?
I'm blessed. Thank you so much for joining us today to share a little bit about who you are and how important it is to serve in the United States Air Force as a senior enlisted officer. Let's get started.
Yes, ma'am.
Master Sergeant, share with us a little bit about who you are and how you were inspired to become the individual that you are today.
Yes, ma'am. So first, I just want to thank you for having me on. Thank you for being patient. I know this has kind of been a work in progress, reaching back to March. That current time I was on ROM, so things are kind of difficult. I'm currently coming to you by way of Saudi Arabia. I'm deployed. So I just want to thank you for having me on. Humble to be here. Um, love everything about your platform. Love the
Thank you.
energy that you bring. Um, Everything that you're doing. I salute you. And I just want to thank you for that. I want to give a disclaimer out real quick. Due to the nature and where I'm at, in case the alarm or something goes off, I do have to react appropriately, and I may have to shut this down immediately. But hopefully you understand, and we can re-engage later.
Yes,
Um, so to your question, how did I get to where I am today as a leader? Correct.
yes.
Um, so it wasn't an easy road. Um, Coming out of high school, very heavy into basketball, but took high school for granted, took education for granted. That's probably why you see right now, as far as my bio, I'm very education driven. I stay heavy on my kids and my daughters for that as well. Um, it wasn't an easy path. I didn't have a plan coming out of high school. Being that I took high school for granted, I lost a lot of scholarships for basketball. At that time, it was like my dad was like, "What you gonna do?" My dad is a U.S. Army veteran, retired after 23 years. Um, so coming out of high school, moved out, bounced around home to home. Finally decided to do something with my life and challenge myself. Joined the Air Force by way of Hawaii, and then that embarked on a whole different level of responsibility. Me being on my own at the early age of 19, established responsibility, financial, just growing, as a young man out there on my own. I was fortunate enough to kind of get stationed back in my hometown at Fayetteville, North Carolina, back at Polk Air Force Base. Um, uh, but even with that, it was a lot of trials and tribulations. I would say there was a lot of people who looked out for me, a lot of leaders that invested in me. And to this day, I still call them and commend them. I thank them for investing into me because without them, I wouldn't be here. Got into some trouble early on in my career as a knucklehead airman. Um, Almost got kicked out the Air Force. It was at that time that I realized, like, this is what I need to do. Um, I could have been out the Air Force 18 years ago, ma'am. Um, but it was those leaders and those mentors and those supervisors that put the credibility on the line and they was willing to go to bat for me because they seen something in me that I did not see in myself at the time.
Awesome.
So fast forward 19 years now, it's been a blast. It's been trying. It's been hard times. It's been ebbs and flows. Um, I'm very fortunate to get notification of CMSR Select a couple weeks ago. So I think that's a testament of those who invested in me early on. A lot of people told me I didn't deserve to be here. A lot of people told me I would never make CMS Sergeant. So I just took that with a grain of salt, and that's kind of what drives me to where I'm at today. So to be the top 2.5% of the United States Air Force, I think is very significant, and I thank those who invested in me early.
Well, that was going to be almost the next question. As the flight chief and senior enlisted leader, you are an example of a true American hero and leader. Share with us a little bit more about, you said you went through a few things, but tell us some of the things that you had to overcome in order to become the leader that you are, because not all leaders you are born to be a leader, but you go through some things before you get there. So how did you overcome those obstacles?
Man, you hit me with tough questions early, huh? Good question. Outstanding question. As I tell a lot of my airmen, you can read, you can watch videos, um, but the leader that you are and the leader that you become is your life experiences, um, and what you experience and how you overcome. Resiliency is one of my values. You know, in the Air Force, we have core values: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in everything that we do. But a lot of times people don't have their own values that they value in their personal side outside of the uniform. Resiliency is one of my values, and the ability to adapt to what you run into is very crucial in how you evolve as a leader. It wasn't easy. Um, I've been, to be honest, through my personal trials and tribulations, I've had airmen that dealt with some very critical life situations. I almost lost an airman under my leadership watch in Germany to suicide. Um, that kind of hit me hard because I didn't see any of the signs ahead of time. From the outside looking in, happy couple, picture perfect couple, young kid, and next thing you know, he's AWOL, absent without leave. Couldn't find him for 48 hours.
Mm.
Um, that was tough for me. My last tour in Germany was very tough. Unfortunately, I kind of went through a divorce on a personal side, but I couldn't let that shortchange what I brought to the work center every day and wear my emotions on the sleeve. I had to suit up, um, lace my boots up, and make sure I lead my airmen um, the best that I could.
I know it's not easy being away from your family. We started the show off with your daughters. You sent in those pictures. How hard is it? You've been on so many deployments and in so many different parts of the world are protecting our country. You are a member of a very distinct group of individuals that are first to be called. Share with us a little bit about how your family is doing and how we are virtual now. So I'm hoping that things are a little bit better than when I was serving.
Yes, ma'am. It's a lot different. Trust me. My first deployment, I had to depend on my mom to send me calling cards, and I had to wait in line to use a phone at the morale tent. Things have changed now. We got smart devices. I'm on a computer with you through Wi-Fi, smartphones. Daughters have smartphones. So my two daughters, Samara, Malaysia Bachelor, she's 13, and then I have my 8-year-old who just turned 8 on the 3rd of April, which is when I took off to come over here to for this deployment. Sanaya Ariane Bachelor. So both of them reside with their mother, not too far from you, Locust Grove,
Okay.
Georgia. Yeah, that's what they reside at. They are my why. One of my favorite motivational speakers is Eric Thomas, and he always says, what is your why? And once you understand your why, that should drive you every day in your everyday walks of life. Um, Everything I do is for them. Um, they keep me humble. They keep me grounded. Love everything about them. They're kind of understanding of what I do. Um, they're very patient with me.
That's
They're very
awesome.
spoiled. They're very spoiled as well. But it's been difficult. It's been difficult. Not only, going from being a part of their everyday lives, and then going through that divorce to now trying to, build them from afar, build their values, establish discipline and responsibilities from afar. It gets challenging. Then we had the pandemic. So when they were with me, just being engaged with them every day in school, making sure I'm sitting with them, just staying engaged as much as possible. That's all I can do. Listen to them. Try to be the best father that I can be. Make sure I'm always there for them. I don't try to dictate or judge their interests. I don't try to live through them. I let them grow and blossom as young ladies that I hope they will become. They will become, and just go from there. I think they're understanding. My family's understanding. My mom and dad. They're both understanding. They're not together. My dad is from the army, retired army, so he understands. And my mom, she served, but then she got out the army as well. But she understands as well. So I have a good, support foundation with my family, and then my daughters. They keep me grounded as well. So everything I do is for them, and they are my why. I am a Mason as well, so I have learned to posture myself and have certain pillars to base my values upon, and how my everyday walks of life with my Masonic family as well.
Awesome. We also shared a picture of you and a gentleman at the beginning of the show. Share with us a little bit about who he was and why he's so significant to your career.
Oh man, that's my dude, my mentor. Got an opportunity to meet him when I first came to the Air Force, at Polk Air Force Base back in 2002, playing basketball. He was still playing basketball. He was a tech sergeant at the time. He is known to the U.S. Air Force as the Enlisted Jesus. That's the leader he was for us. That's Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Kalitho Wright, also known as K. Wright. Good mentor of mine, good friend, outstanding leader, phenomenal dad, phenomenal father. Uh, Everything about him it just resonates with me. Every time he speaks, I listen.
Mhm.
I try to absorb as much as possible. And he's one of the ones that he looked out for me from afar. We wasn't engaged in everyday conversations, but just out of the blue. So when I got notification of seeing Master Sergeant just out of the blue, he sent a text saying his congratulations. So he's always watching from afar. He's a very busy man now. He's retired, but yeah, that's one of my good friends, Khalif Wright.
Awesome, awesome. You have also, Master Sergeant, you have also had a distinguished career as it relates to awards. Share with us some of those citations and accomplishments.
So I would say the last 4 5 years have really it's really blossomed for me when it comes to awards and recognition. First and foremost, I wouldn't be nowhere near those accolades without the airmen who put in the hard work, dedication that I oversee and that I manage and that I supervise. Um, so without them, I'm nothing. Um, but over the past 4 or 5 years, so I was stationed in Spangalum, Germany, 2017-18. I got instructor of the year, detachment instructor of the year for 17-18.
Mhm.
Coming into Whiteman Air Force Base, I won maintenance professional for the group, third quarter. I also won armament manager, third quarter, 2019. Squadron armament manager of the year. Coming in 2020, group arm manager again. Um, then I got Squadron NCO, and then I got Squadron Tuskegee Airman as well. And I finished off just notification prior to coming out here in March. Um, I was awarded the Bomb Wing Arm Manager of the Year for 2020. So again, a
Wow.
humbling experience. Been a roller coaster. It's been a ride. again, it's a testament to the airmen that I lead. I love leading them. As the saying goes, and one of the things I live by, one of my good brothers, Senior Select Henry McRoberts, we climb as we lift. Because without those underneath us, we wouldn't be nowhere near where we're at right now.
Right, right. Yes, he's a distinguished gentleman as well. But
Yes, ma'am.
when you think about leadership, tell us some of the fundamental values that you instill in your troops and in your airmen. Um, as you're everywhere. You're a leader here in the U.S., abroad. You got to be doing some amazing things to continue to get these very distinguished type assignments that you're on.
Yes, ma'am. So, I continue, like I told you previously, I took education for granted. So I take that to heart right now. I constantly preach to my airmen, um, pursue education. And they always ask me why. And I say, why not? It's an opportunity to grow. Why limit yourself? Why put a ceiling on your aptitude when you have opportunities that presents itself? I continue taking classes. I'm probably by the time I finish my tour out here in this deployment, I should be finished with my master's. Um, so I'm looking forward to that and getting that completed with some of the leadership things that I do and I try to foster or facilitate within my work center is just making sure they understand the why and what they do and to have a purpose. Everyone comes from different walks of life. Everyone joins for a different purpose. Um, and respectively, that's fine. But
Yes,
we all wear the same uniforms. The first thing you have over your heart is that name tape that says U.S. Air Force. And we all are serving for that significant purpose. Um, some of my personal values, my personal leadership values consist of family, faith, humility, resiliency, and not last but not least, character, and last but not least, compassion. So those are my personal leadership attributes that I live by outside of the core values that the Air Force has embedded into me. And I try to just let that resonate with the airmen that I lead to make sure, they have a sense of purpose and a sense of why. And some of them get it. Some of them don't right away. To be honest, I didn't get it right away. I didn't understand what leadership was until I was put in a position as a tech sergeant. And I had grown, I had airmen walk into my office, not even work related. And, Sergeant Bachelor, this is what I got going on. And it's real life. And it hits you kind of hard because you don't know how to respond. There's no book, there's no course, there's nothing out there that can prepare you for that. And you have to be mindful, like the response, the next words that come out your mouth can go left or go right. They can be receptive of it, or they can just go into that shell, and who knows? Who knows what can happen from there? Um, so yeah, those are my leadership core values, and I try my best to live those on a day-to-day basis.
for Rico, are there any shout outs that you would like to give? Any coworkers you would like to mention today, or is that too much to ask?
Oh, not at all. Absolutely. We spoke about one of my mentors, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Khalif Wright. One of my good brothers, Team Master Select Henry McRoberts, um, a good brother of mine. That brother right there, he's keeping me grounded when it comes to faith. Um, so we kind of been going climbing at the same time, went to tech school at the same time. So we're kind of growing together. So it's beautiful to see that come full circle. Some of the other mentors out there, Chief Master Sergeant Joe Bogdan, who also Sergeant Roberts put me in touch with, Chief Master Sergeant Marcus Oates as well. So it's a lot. It's a lot of people I can thank. I can go all night, but yeah, those are some of the few that have helped me come along the way. And there's plenty of retirees, those that looked out for me when I was a knucklehead airman, getting in trouble, almost got kicked out the Air Force, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here.
Well, Master Sergeant Bachelor, you mentioned earlier about COVID, but let's talk about how it's impact you as it relates to your job and your family.
Um, so the pandemic, from my AOR, my area responsibility is very difficult. Um, working at Whiteman, the sole B2 base in the U.S. Air Force inventory, um, we're the spear when it comes to nuclear deterrence. How do we maintain these operations given the certain circumstances? Um, Given the moment's notice at the nation's call, how can we respond given the pandemic? It was very difficult. We got airmen, that's their first duty location in the middle of Missouri. There's nothing out there. How do you deal with that? How do you lead airmen that are not used to that? You can't go out. You got to stay in. You got to come to work. Can't do nothing else. It was challenging. One of the things I learned through that pandemic, and as we still go through it, the importance of mental health and making sure you're always in a good mental space. The nature of our business, dealing with nuclear weapons, you have to be 100% on point all times. And the margin for error, there isn't one. And there's airmen in the midst of the pandemic. We had that big election. So you tie that in with certain personal values, and I had airmen dealing with racial tensions, racial disparity. It was a big melting pot when it came to leading these airmen. I can say personally within the last year. So I had to tap into some different resources and actually do some self-education because it's my job. I have to lead them. I
Right.
just can't lead it. I just can't leave them astray because I wouldn't want to be them. I wouldn't want to be a brand new airman in the middle of Missouri dealing with racial tension, racial disparity in the middle of a pandemic and stuck in a small dorm room door, a dorm room, you know what I mean? So it was difficult. We powered through it. I would say, even though we had some limitations, our airmen performed and shined like I know they would. We knocked out a lot of exercises, being 63% man, which I think is extraordinary from a
Hmm.
nuclear deterrence standpoint. That's unheard of. So, all the accolades I can mention about myself, but again, I allude to it's all their hard work and dedication.
Awesome, awesome. Master Sergeant Bachelor, any final words that you would like to share with the audience before we say goodbye?
Um, no, ma'am. I just want to thank you again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Again, love your energy, love your platform. Thank you for finally linking up. I know it kind of was like, man, I ain't gonna get this dude on. Like, and I was like, I just pray that she's patient with me, and you made it work. Love everything about your energy again, and I just want to thank you again, ma'am. And
Well, thank you.
very
And I hope
humbling.
that when you get to the Locust Grove area, I would have an opportunity to meet you and your family or link up somewhere in the city. It's awesome when you meet extraordinary people like yourself. You're doing some amazing things. Master Sergeant, we wish you continued success, and I'll definitely continue to follow you and be in touch with you. You stay safe.
Yes, ma'am. You too. Be blessed.
Be blessed. Bye bye
All
now.
right. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, guys. That was Master Sergeant Bachelor. Rico. Yeah, Ricardo Bachelor. He stopped by today to share a little bit about who he is, his life and career in the United States Air Force. We wish him continued success. He's an extraordinary young man doing some amazing things. Guys, make sure that you continue to stream what you love now. Streets 989 Atlanta TV. Thank you for joining me today for True Life Experiences with your host, the First Lady, MC Jazzy. Like to thank my guests again for stopping by and sharing his life and career with our audience. I'm your host, MC Jazzy. Until then, we're going to exit with a video by my girl, Miss Jorisa. She is the Duchess. Let's check her out. She said, call me crazy. Until then, keep God first in your life.
just getting in. You're still lying in the bed, and it's 10:15. You said you hung out with the fellas, but I wasn't there. It's mighty strange, I smell perfume lingering through the air, but you're cold.